All right.
Oh man.
So we are doing the portion. Where are you? Come over here. All right, guys. So we're doing the portion of a consultation for training purposes. And this is going to be one of the episodes that you're going to be watching when it comes to the buyer consultation, or what we like to use as strategy session. And we're going to break it into different videos because there's a lot of information and we don't want to bore you guys to death. So what we're going to talk about right now is the buyer questionnaire. And this is just simply me asking Nicole, and Nicole's going to pretend like she's the buyer. This is simply me getting to know what Nicole likes. Now, more than likely, Nicole and I already spoke on the phone,
Yes.
right? I was prospecting, got her on the phone, and she's already kind of given me an idea of why she's looking to move, when she's looking to move, and some of the things that are important to her. Now, that's basic information to get them into the door. And eventually, or like during that phone call, I told Nicole, hey, you know what? Would you find it of value to come to the office so I can educate you about this process?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Nicole makes it into the office, and now we're going to start the consultation part of this. Now, every once in a while during this video, what I'm going to do, I might say the words like off script, which means we're going to get out of role play mode. Because I'm sure that in the midst of this process, I need to explain some things, why we're asking some things to help protect you as the real estate agent to become more efficient in some of these processes. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So as basic and as simple as this questionnaire is, there is a lot of circumstantial things to consider. And you're going to see how this can help you to do a consultation with a buyer so that you're more effective and more efficient in actually showing houses, but more importantly, showing the right houses.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So most of this information here should already be filled out, right? If you've got information over the phone, fill it out. Still go over it with the buyer just to make sure nothing's changed from the phone conversation to when you're meeting the actual people in person. Because I could have spoken to Nicole on the phone, and then all of a sudden she brings in her husband, and I didn't even know she had a husband. And then the husband has something different to say than what she might have mentioned to me on the phone, right? And this is why it's important to recap some of this information when you write it down, because you want to look at both people and you want to say, is this still the case? Right. And then you want to kind of observe their body language. Right. And this is a good thing, right? Because you, as the real estate agent, have to have the emotional intelligence to discern where is there a sense of differences between both on a specific topic. And I like to tell people, hey, it's okay to have those differences because this is part of the discovery process. It's not just about looking for the house, but it's about bringing both people together on a specific house. Right? Okay. A lot of basic information in here. Today's date, lead source, appointment date, buyer's name, email address. And we're going to go over some of the stuff here in a second. Now, I'm going to put myself a shameless plug here for a second. Some of these docs, if you guys are going to watch this video, if you want some access to this stuff, just make sure you message me or just comment below and provide your email address, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you guys. Okay. Buyer's name and the time, appointment date, lead source, and today's date. The email address, I more than likely have Nicole's email address. More than likely, Nicole may have come to our website to browse at properties. She put in her data. We called her, got on the phone, but we never got her husband's information, right? So it's important to say in here, buyer's email number 1, we already have her info. Email number 2, do you have another email that you like to use? Your husband, what's his name? What's his email address? What's his phone number? You're going to want to collect all that data. Why? Now we have 2 email addresses, right? And we have 2 phone numbers. we're gonna go off script, or we're not even in script, right?
Right.
But so for the sake of effective communication, you want to get the second phone number when you have a couple. The reason why is because you might want to create a group text message when you actually get in the process of talking about houses, right? You want all parties involved to be on the same page because it saves you a lot of time, so you don't have to text both people.
Right.
Or you don't have to worry about delivering the message to one person, hoping that they communicated the right way to their significant other. Okay. And then when it comes to getting the email addresses, you want to make sure that when you set them up on a property search in the MLS, you want to have both email addresses in there so they both can receive properties. Right? The one thing you don't want to do is leave out one person. Right? A lot of times we may have one person that is one of the couples, one of the people, one out of the couple, one person may be the one that speaks out the most, and the other one might be a little bit more silent. But the person who's silent might be the person that actually has the biggest say.
Right.
They're just not speaking up because that's not within their personality. Right. So always make sure that everyone's included in a group text message and also in an email address. And this is why we're obtaining this information now, just to make sure.
So are they filling this out when you get to the appointment, or is it already filled out and they're filling in the blanks?
The real estate agent should have this filled out to the best of their ability before they show up. And then they have it in front of them as they're going to be ready to talk about the actual consultation.
Gotcha.
Okay. If Nicole shows up by herself, I'm going to confirm, is there anyone that I should be including in our conversations by text? Or is there anyone that should be included in receiving these properties? It may not be a significant other. It could be a parent. Right?
A cosigner.
Right. And what a phenomenal thing to ask, because you're saying to a person, hey, I can appreciate if you have somebody involved who's a big influence in your life. Do you want to ask them if they would like to be involved in our communications?
Right.
Or receive the properties? You let me know, right? And the person that she may be asking, they may say, wow, this person actually asked you that? Like, that's pretty, courteous of them, right? So we're gathering all the information. Here is the question. Who is the primary contact? So Nicole, we're going to go ahead and get into the role play. Nicole, who's the primary contact and what's the best time and method to reach you?
So I would be the primary contact. Okay. The best way to contact me is through phone. If you just give me a ring, or if you shoot me a text message, I'll definitely reply. You could text me any time of the day during the regular work day. I'm not really on my phone in the evenings. I spend a lot of time with my family then.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, cool. So would you agree with me that if it's maybe a short message, just a quick text, but if it's something where you want to speak to me at a length, maybe pick up the phone?
Yes.
Okay, because I know sometimes this process for you, I know this is going to be your first house. Some things that we may convey in a text message may not come across the right way. So it's best to pick up the phone. Is it okay for me to coordinate a time with you to pick up the phone for that purpose?
Yeah, the best time to give me a call would definitely be when I'm out of work, anywhere between like 3 to 7 o'clock at night.
Perfect. Okay, cool. And I got some cell phone numbers in here. Which one's the primary number?
The primary number is 813-478-5864.
Okay, cool. And I apologize. You might have mentioned this to me a little bit before. Are you able to speak during work hours, or would you prefer for me to communicate text while you're working and then maybe by phone after working hours?
Yeah. So if you want to give me a call, definitely give me a call during after work hours. But if you want to shoot me a text, if it's really important, you can definitely text me while I'm at work and I'll reply.
Okay, great. Awesome. And just so that I can plan ahead and so my team can plan ahead for you so we can service you the best way. Typically, what are the days that you're typically working and what days are you typically free?
So I'm a nurse. My schedule varies, but as of right now, my schedule has been where I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Okay, perfect. So I can appreciate that because what's going to happen is that we have a team that if your schedule doesn't fit my schedule, we always have somebody to accommodate you. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go off script here for a second. Uh, how thorough is that, right? We're saying, hey, we want to communicate with you effectively. So we're going to ask you these questions.
Right.
And then you, as a buyer, how do you feel the fact that I'm asking these questions?
I feel like I'm being thought of because my time doesn't work the same as your time. So the fact that you would even consider that, it makes me feel like you're being thoughtful and making sure that you're being thorough with
Right.
making sure you catch me at the right time.
Right.
And that you're not interrupting my work schedule, which is very important.
Right. And, for some of you guys that may be watching, whether you're a single agent or a team, we run in a capacity of a team. So if she says something to me that, hey, I'm only available to see houses on Sunday, and that doesn't work out for me because that's my day off.
Right.
Well, if you have a team, then you should be on the same page with your team members to be able to accommodate her schedule. However, whether you're on a team or whether you're a single agent, if that schedule doesn't work for you, it's best to tell that person right there and then, not at that point. Right? Because what's going to happen is that if you let it continue, knowing that it doesn't work out for you and it won't work out for her, you're going to be burning a bridge. Right? And people are going to be upset, and then you're going to get bad reviews. So don't be desperate if it doesn't work out for you. If you can figure it out and it works, then go for it. Okay?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why you do these consultations, is because we haven't even started talking about the house yet.
Right.
We're talking about communication, which is the number one reason or the number one complaint that consumers have about realtors is communication.
Right.
Okay? All right. This is up to you if you want to ask this or not. I typically will skip this part, but it does come right after asking, the scheduling of the communications and stuff. Nicole, if we found a home today that met all of your needs and as many of your wants as possible, is it something where you would consider making an offer?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, great. So going off script, her response is, I'm ready to make decisions as needed, as long as the right house comes along.
Yes.
Okay. Nicole, what's prompting you to move? Now, we may have already received this information on the phone and written it down, but we still want to recap it, right? So if I've had this information, I might say, Nicole, I remember when I spoke with you about a week ago, I asked you what was motivating you to move. And you mentioned to me that you're tired of renting and the rental payments have gone up significantly. Is that still the case, or is there anything else you want to add on to that?
Yep, that's exactly the case. I definitely want to stop paying so much for rentals. And not only that, I feel like it's not enough space for the amount that I'm paying as of right now. I like the area I'm living in, but like I said, it's too expensive for just not enough space.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I got all that stuff down, and I want to get back to the area. When we continue this interview, we're going to get into that because I want to hear more about that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Now, tell me, do you have a general idea of a price range you're looking for? And I want to pause for a second, Nicole, because when I ask this question, some people don't know, and I just want to let you know that's okay. We're going to help you with that process. Okay. But I'm sure that you've been looking online, looking at houses. Think about the houses that you love. Do you have an idea realistically with the houses that you love? I know you haven't spoken to a lender yet, because I know you mentioned that to me over the phone before this appointment. But what do you normally gravitate towards in terms of a price range?
Typically, I'm going more towards the 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and they're around 300 to 400 is what I've really noticed.
Okay.
The decent ones. And then like where I feel comfortable based off of the Zestimate that they provide. that's where I've noticed I would probably gravitate more towards.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And just to confirm, and I know we, just spoke about it, but I want to make sure I'm on the same page with you. Okay, is you haven't been pre-approved by a lender?
No.
Okay, cool. And then we're going to help you with that process as we continue. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You don't have your pre-approval letter, and we don't know what loan type you were using, but don't worry because we're going to be speaking about that in this appointment. We're going to give you guidance as to what all these loan types mean. And, we're not the mortgage lender. You're going to get more guidance on that, but we're going to touch on it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay?
Phenomenal.
All right. Is there anyone else involved in your decision-making process once we find that perfect home that you're looking for?
Yes. At this time, it'll be me and my mother.
Okay.
Just because she has the better credit, I'm going to need her to co-sign for the property.
Got it.
And if anything happens to me, I want to make sure that this property does go to my mom.
Okay. So with that said, that's awesome. And I can definitely appreciate that. Your mother, you think it's important for her to be involved in our communication, such as like a group text or maybe an email address so she can receive the same properties that you're receiving?
She's not so much going to be in the selection process. She's going to be more so of the paperwork and the finalization of things. So
Gotcha.
we could include her, but it's not necessary considering she's not going to be the one choosing the property. She's just going to be signing and helping me do the closing statements.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Listen, if any of that changes at any time in this process, feel free to communicate that to us because we'll be more than happy to have her involved in all communications. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, perfect. Now, when you're looking at houses, are you looking for a specific type of home? A townhouse, a single family home, a condo? What do you normally gravitate towards? And I'd like to hear kind of why.
So I really would like a single family home, mainly because a townhome just doesn't provide enough privacy. I would like something that has like a fence and just like kind of not completely secluded. I like to have neighbors, but I just want space. It's really what I'm looking for is to have enough yard space and just home space.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And you mentioned earlier, and I'm not sure, when you're renting, are you renting a home right now or are you renting in an apartment?
I'm actually renting a studio.
A studio.
So that's why I'm really looking to move.
Gotcha.
It's just not big enough. I'm looking to have more space so that I can invite people over and have space for when family visits and stuff like that.
Gotcha. I'm going to go off script for a second. One of the things that we like to teach in the phone conversations and even in this conversation, and you're going to start hearing me say it more, because she just gave me some information that it's helpful, but there's more in depth to find out why is she looking for a fence. So we're going to use keywords such as, Nicole, tell me more about this fence. Why is this important to you?
It's important to me because I plan on getting a dog in the future. So I would really like a fence so that way the dog can go out and play and freely have that space without having to be on a leash.
Nice. Totally understand that. I have a dog myself. Do you have, now that we're talking about pets, do you have any other pets currently to live with you, like a cat, a bird?
No, not right now. I don't have any pets as of right now, but I am planning ahead. When I get this space, I would like to go ahead and have enough space so I could get a dog.
Gotcha. And tell me the importance of privacy to you.
It's just important to me to be able to have like the freedom in my home of being able to play music.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about my next door neighbor completely hearing what's going on in my house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just because there's not a lot of privacy in the world, and I want to have that privacy in my own house.
Understood. Yeah, and I think sometimes that experience comes from when you're renting a home or renting an apartment or studio. You have your neighbors right next to you, and I think sometimes maybe that's where the privacy thing comes in. And I appreciate you sharing that with me because that helps me understand that. When you were renting your studio, did you have a garage? Did you rent a garage?
No, I didn't have a garage. It was just the studio. And it's like in an apartment building. So there was really no garages. It's just regular parking spaces. They were assigned.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. These spaces, were they covered or were they kind of open without a cover?
It was just open without a cover.
Ooh, totally get it. Well, hopefully this house that we get for you has a garage that it's covered.
Yes.
Would that be important to you?
It would be important to me because I like to paint, so I could probably paint in the garage or just have that space for other things that could be creative.
Got it. Yeah, I would imagine it'd be super helpful for you on a rainy day when you're bringing in the groceries, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, cool. Hey, quick question for you. How long have you been looking for like a house? Like,
So I've been looking online, kind of just prospecting a little bit at some options, but I haven't seen anything that piques my interest enough to go out and physically see it in person.
gotcha. Okay. So would you say it's been like 2 months, 3 months, a year, 2 years?
It's been about a month.
A month. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's helpful. Now tell me, this is the favorite question we like to ask all our clients. What do you need? When do you need to be in your new home?
When do I need to be? So I'm in a month-to-month lease. I'd like to be in this new home as soon as possible because I want to be able to have my holidays in this new home, especially because we're getting towards the holidays. So as soon as possible would be ideal. But I do have my apartment still, and I technically don't have a rush.
Okay. I'm going to go off script for a second. I like to take this opportunity that when I ask a person that question, what I want to do is I want to educate them a little bit about what that process looks like, right? Now, when I hear I'm in a rush or not in a rush, but I want to get in ASAP, of course, as real estate agents, we're like, what? Right?
Right.
We get excited about that. But now what I want to do is take this opportunity to tell Nicole, what does that look like? Okay, what does that time frame look like? So we're going to go back to script here. Okay, great. So you're looking to move in as soon as possible when you find this right house. Hopefully with the privacy, the fence, still have some neighbors, and have a covered garage. I want to share this with you, Nicole, so you can kind of get an understanding what it looks like time-wise for you, okay? When we're done today, you're going to have so much knowledge. You're going to be excited about it. And what I'm going to ask you to do next is talk to one of our go-to lenders, okay? That lender, they're going to talk to you about all your finances, and they're going to get you pre-approved.
Okay.
Typically doesn't take too long, maybe 48 hours, okay? When you get that pre-approval, you and we're going to start looking for houses, okay? What I want to explain to you is the looking for houses part.
Mm-hmm.
This is what can take sometimes a long time for some people.
Okay.
Sometimes a month can go by, 2 months can go by, okay? And for some people, they can find the house in the first week. Okay. So it varies. And the reason I wanted to educate you about that, Nicole, is because as you're thinking about your time to be in your house, I want you to know that you have to factor that into the timeline.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is the reason why we're doing this consultation today, is because would you rather have us be very thorough in what we're doing, ask you 100 questions so that we can show you the 10 right exact houses what you're looking for? Or would you rather have us ask you 5 questions or 10 questions and show you 100 houses?
I definitely don't have the time to see 100 houses, so I prefer you just ask away.
Awesome. I appreciate and I can appreciate that, because what's going to happen, Nicole, is you're going to find out that how thorough we are, and you and I working together effectively,
mm-hmm.
that it's not going to take us 2 months.
Okay.
It'll probably take us under 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah.
So, but I do want to factor that in so that you're well versed as to planning the move.
Right.
Okay.
And getting everything squared away with my studio and my land.
Correct. And those are things to consider as well. Once we find your house, there's a little bit of time where we have to secure the home for you. We don't know if we have to negotiate with people. We don't know if we have competition. Sometimes that can take anywhere from 2 to 5 days.
Okay.
Before we actually get a final decision.
Wow.
And then when you do get the home and we do make that phone call, you have to plan for another 30 to 45 days out from that point.
Okay. So it could take a while.
It could take a little while. Okay.
Gotcha.
So the searching part of it, we don't want to move too fast, but we want to move efficiently. because 2 weeks can go past, but then there's another 45 days on top of that. Okay. So you're probably looking like a 60-day process, depending on how quickly you and I work together to find this house.
Okay.
Does that help you out any?
Yes. So with that being said, I would probably want to be in a house by like November latest.
Okay.
Because I want to spend the holidays, especially Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is very important. I want to host it at my house this year.
Gotcha. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the best that we can to get you in there before that.
Okay.
So I appreciate you sharing that with us. Let me ask you something about this house that you're looking for. This house with the fence, the privacy, the 3-2 bedroom. Are you open to doing renovations?
I suppose so, yes. Because I know a couple people who know how to renovate houses.
Okay.
So they could probably help me out if there's a few things here and there, but I wouldn't want to do like a whole construction on the home.
So you're talking about a little bit more like cosmetics.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Small fixes.
Okay. So you're open to those type of homes?
Yes.
Okay. Do you prefer something that's move-in ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The less I have to do, the better for me. But if it's necessary, if I have to find somebody to fix something, I have connections.
Perfect. Okay. And I apologize if I'm repeating this question, but I want to make sure I'm very clear about this. How many people are going to be living in the household with you?
Oh, it's just going to be me and my boyfriend.
Sometimes. And your new dog.
Yeah, my new dog.
Your new dog.
Once I get him.
All right, perfect. All right, so can you give me, what are their names?
So my dog, I don't know yet, but my boyfriend.
But if you were to guess, I'm just kidding. No, the boyfriend. What's the boyfriend's name?
My boyfriend's name is Jason.
Jason. Okay, cool.
He's not buying the house with me. He just comes and goes sometimes.
Gotcha. Okay, understood. Okay. Tell me, the studio that you live in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what do you like about it?
It's very modern looking. I like the way that it aesthetically looks when you walk in. It looks like a studio. It's a small studio, but it looks very spacious because of the organization of the actual place.
Gotcha.
I like the colors. It's like gray and white.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that, so I appreciate you sharing that. What kind of colors you like?
Yes, I like those modern looking homes.
Okay. Share with me what you don't like about your place.
The space. That's not even a question. I need more space.
Gotcha.
And I don't like how everything's kind of on top of each other. It's just, I guess, the layout itself.
Gotcha. And I want to be clear because in the beginning you said the space, you like it, it's spacious, but only because it's organized so well.
Right.
But what you don't like about it is the space from the perspective of you need more square footage.
Right.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page about that.
Yes.
Do you have a preference to be in a 1-story or 2-story home? Do you care for stairs or do you want stairs?
I'm kind of indifferent to stairs. If I see some options that are very spacious with stairs, I'd be open to it.
Okay.
It would really just depend on what it looks like in general. I would like to see it.
Okay.
I'm very indifferent. Like they could have stairs or not.
I got you.
Okay.
So if we find a perfect home and it's a 2-story, don't rule it out. Let's go look at it.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, here we go. What's the location that you prefer? You told me that you like something about where you're at right now.
Yes.
What's that location that you live in?
I currently live in New Tampa.
New Tampa.
Yes.
Okay.
I like how it's near the mall, and I like how the atmosphere is just really nice in my community, and like there's not that much crime.
Okay.
There's a lot of nature around, so I could go on walks safely, and I like that.
Gotcha.
So I'd like something like that where I can walk around in the neighborhood and feel safe.
Okay. Is there anything that you like about New Tampa, like accessibility to the stores? Is there certain things that is like your everyday lifestyle that you need the next location to have?
Yes. So I'm pretty much very near everything that I need as far as my gym, Publix, Walmart. Everything's pretty nearby, and I like that. I'd like to be around the same kind of area. If not necessarily here, another area that has similar features and has everything nearby, so I don't have to drive too far because traffic is just insane nowadays.
Okay. So, you know, for some of us, when I hear the word nearby, we all come from different states, different places. When you say near, are you talking about 15 minutes nearby, 5 minutes nearby, or 30 minutes nearby?
I don't want to drive more than 15 minutes
Okay,
to
perfect.
like my nearest store.
That helps me understand.
Yeah.
Okay, and we know that you're looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. If you had a general idea of the size of the home, what does that square footage look like to you?
Probably around 1,000. No, probably like 1,500
Okay,
to 1,700. It doesn't have to be too much house
okay,
because that's a lot of cleaning.
got it.
And I'm coming from a studio, so like anything is just a much bigger than that.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you know what an HOA is?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts about an HOA?
I think they could be nice, depending on what they offer.
Okay.
But I would prefer. I don't like them when they're like too picky. When they're like, oh, you can't have
You don't
certain
want
things.
full restrictions.
Right.
Okay.
I like to be able. Like I have a brother who sometimes needs to fix cars. Like if he needs to fix something in my yard or a mechanic has to come over to fix something in my car. I like to be able to do those things without it affecting the HOA.
Gotcha.
And then my boyfriend has a Corvette, so his car is loud whenever he drives and stuff like that. So I know some HOAs. I have a friend who she had a Mustang, and in her HOA they fined her just because of the sound of the Mustang. I don't want to have those kinds of issues.
Okay. When we talk about amenities that an HOA offers, is there anything that you absolutely are looking for?
A pool would probably be nice. If I don't have one in my yard, I'd like one in the community that I could go relax by.
All right. So I'm going to stop here for a second, Nicole, and I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to give you your first challenge, almost as if we're looking at houses right now. Okay. We find this phenomenal modern home that's spacious. The home is about 1,500 to 1,700 square feet. It's fenced in. It has a private pool. It's just a gorgeous home. And it has everything. It's just perfect home. Has privacy, has a covered garage, has everything you need.
Okay.
It's an HOA community. And they don't allow you to have loud cars. Is that a deal breaker?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be a deal breaker.
Okay. All right. So the flexibility of having a vehicle in the driveway or even on the lawn for someone to be working on it as a mechanic is much more important to you. It's definitely a deal breaker. If we find the perfect home, we shouldn't even be looking at the home.
Okay. Unless it depends on the penalties the community will do.
Okay.
Like if they're gonna just fine me, if it's a small fine, I'd probably be okay with that because, like I said, my boyfriend comes and goes. He's the one with the loud car.
Gotcha.
So it would just depend on the penalties that the community has.
Okay. The one thing I can educate you about HOAs is that sometimes they don't share with you what the penalties are. They just say it's subject to a fine. Okay. So, and I want to communicate that to you because it's not a black or white answer.
Gotcha.
Okay. And I'm challenging you with that thought process because sometimes we find houses and I need to know if I should bother you during your working hours to let you know about a house.
I mean, I'd like to know. I'd like to know about the house, especially if you think it's for me.
Yes. This is why I ask you those questions, right? Because I don't want to rule anything out. If you tell me that it's a deal breaker.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I'll give you time to process that. Okay. And I'm just going to keep it like we should stay open to it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Have you worked with a real estate agent before?
No.
And we said that you didn't have any pets. Are schools important to you?
Not really.
Okay. Is the size of a yard important to you?
As long as it has a yard. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
very
A
large.
regular, right? Standard. Okay. Do you want a pool? I think you mentioned you do, right?
I would like a pool, but it's not necessary. It's not a deal breaker
Not a deal
if it doesn't
breaker.
have a pool. Because I could always get one installed, or I could buy like an above ground pool or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. And I think we spoke about this earlier. You would like a garage.
Yes, the garage would be nice.
Do you need to have a garage?
No, I don't need one.
Okay.
I'm okay with. I've been parking out in the open for a long time now.
Okay.
So like, it's not a deal breaker.
So
if it has no garage.
It's a nice have.
Yes.
Okay. There's some properties, depending on the area that we're going to be looking in, that they'll convert the garage into extra living space, and it's done well.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that that's not a deal breaker. If we find the perfect house and it doesn't have a garage, I need to know that we should be looking at that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Agreed? Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Water views. Now, when I talk about a water view, I'm talking about the pond in the rear, a lake. How do you feel about that?
I would love a water view.
Okay, so alligators and waters don't bother you?
No, I'm from here.
Oh, okay, perfect, cool. But is it a must-have?
It's not a must-have, but I would absolutely love it.
Okay.
It would make me love the house all the more.
Awesome. Okay, so out of all these questions I've asked, and if you notice, we've asked a lot of questions, right?
Yes.
Is there anything that you think I missed?
No, I don't think so.
Nothing that's a deal breaker that we should be speaking about?
Closet space.
Closet
I need
space.
closets. I need to be able to I have a lot of stuff.
Now, when we talk about closet space, I'm gonna go off script. See, you can always ask more questions. And I'm about to ask more questions. And it's something as simple as a closet space. I'm going to continue peeling back that onion more and more and more. And she's going to appreciate that. Okay? So we're going to go back in script. This closet space, are you referring to the closet space in all bedrooms or the one in the master bedroom?
The one in the master bedroom. All bedrooms doesn't matter because it'll mainly be just me in the home. In the other bedrooms, it would just be guests typically or storage. So gotcha. I just want to be able to have, like, in my room and in the kitchen, enough cabinet space to put everything away.
Got it. Okay, understood. Okay. I'm going to ask you your second challenging question. You ready?
Yeah.
We got the perfect house, 3-2, 15 to 1,700 square feet.
Okay.
Has a private pool in the back. It's fenced in for the new doggy. Has a garage if you need it.
Okay.
The closet space, it's okay for you. Should we be looking at that house or should we not look at that house?
No, we can.
Okay. All right.
I have a garage, right? Yeah, anything that doesn't fit in the closet, I could just put it in the garage.
Put it in the garage. Okay, great.
Nice and organized.
Okay. This next one, we're going to go off script. It's called the 5 must-haves. And since I've done this a few times, you might have already noticed earlier as I was asking questions, I was proposing challenges to her. And I was proposing those challenges and to make her think about what would she do? Instead of waiting for the scenario to actually really happen, I'm challenging her now just to see what her response is. And sometimes what I do is I tell buyers, hey, if you notice the way I pause, I would say, I got your first challenge. And she's like, whoa, okay.
Right.
I'm putting her in that real life scenario. And I would say to the buyer, it's a good question, right? Listen, we're covering this now because more than likely it may happen when we start looking at houses. And I want your brain to start thinking about what you would do. Okay?
Absolutely.
Because when it comes down to it, we want to hit everything on the checklist for you. But you have to be prepared that there might be a compromise you need to make. And I'm not saying you should compromise yourself on that, right. But I need to know if you're willing to do so, depending on what it is.
Right.
Okay? Nicole, we find the perfect house that you were looking for, everything that we've mentioned so far, right?
Mhm.
But it's 1,200 square feet. Is that something that you would want to proceed with?
And it has a yard
Yes.
and a garage?
Yes.
Yes, I would
Okay.
proceed with it.
Tell me about what is the most important thing for you.
The most important thing is for me to have space to put all of my stuff away. Because, like I said, I have a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm a painter. I have a lot of art products.
Okay.
So I'd say cabinet space and storage.
Gotcha. And I would imagine on a home with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms that may not have a garage, as long as it has closet space, you would be fine with that? That would fit your stuff?
Yes.
Okay. Good. If we found a home that had 2 bedrooms and no garage, would that be sufficient space for you?
And there's cabinet space? Or
Yes.
no?
Sure.
No, that'd be a deal breaker.
Okay.
I need that 3rd bedroom.
So we absolutely need the 3 bedroom.
Yes, because one of them would be for guests, one of them is going to be an office.
Okay.
So I'm going to need that 3rd room.
Okay. I want to take this time to talk about, it seems like the space is super duper important, and I can
Yes.
definitely respect that. One of the things that you mentioned is a home that's modern, right? You mentioned that you like your apartment, your studio, because it's modern.
Yes.
If the home is traditional, not modern, are you going to proceed with that home or no? And it has everything you want.
It's traditional, but it's move-in ready,
Correct.
so it doesn't have issues. Yeah, I would move it. I would go ahead and proceed with it because I could always characterize it to my style, to my own needs.
Gotcha.
So if it's not the newest, that's okay as long as I can remodel and like paint it and make it look pretty.
Understood. Okay, so let me give you 2 more challenges.
Okay.
Perfect home, modern, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, all the space you want, but it has like little to almost no yard. Is that a deal breaker for you?
But it's in this area?
Yes, it's in New Tampa. Everything
there's, like-
everything on the checklist that you like.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
Okay.
That'd be okay because
Perfect.
I could walk in the community, have my dog, I could walk
All right.
him out.
Okay, so I won't rule
And
that
the
out.
dog will have space at least in the house.
So Nicole, it appears to me your number 1 deal breaker is space.
Yes.
It needs to have a 3rd bedroom or maybe 2 bedrooms and a bonus room. Maybe it's not legally a 3rd bedroom, but it
Yeah.
has. Okay, all right. Space is the most important thing for you.
Absolutely, because I have none of it now.
So we're not looking at 2 bedrooms at all,
Mm-mm.
even if it has a garage.
Unless, like you said, it has a den or an area that I can make into my office. Like I know some homes have like a bar section.
Yeah.
If it's like that, I'm okay with it.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
Because that 3rd room is going to be an office. So
Gotcha.
if I have the space to put an office without the 3rd bedroom, I'd be okay with it.
Space is the most important thing. I'm going to go off script. I've just challenged her in various occasions. I did not wait for these challenges to occur when we were out in the field.
Brilliant.
This saves us time, gas money. It puts Nicole and I on the same page. It allows her to appreciate how thorough we are, and we are backing it up. We told her in the beginning, we're thorough. And now she's seeing it, right? So we are developing a lot of credibility in her eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. We may or may not have won her over just yet, but I'm guessing we have.
Yes.
So far, so good, right?
Absolutely. Very thorough.
Okay. So,
Would recommend.
yep. Now, here's the important part of this. Is everything that we just mentioned, but I have it here on paper, and she knows I asked her this because when we're out in the field, she may have a change of heart, and we might be taken back by it. She might find a gorgeous home that's 2 bedrooms, and I'm gonna say to her, Nicole, yeah, absolutely, we can definitely go look at it. If you don't mind me asking you, I remember that first time that we met. and I asked you a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Remember that first deal breaker? You said space, right?
Yes.
Has something changed from the time that you and I met to today where you're wanting to see this 2-bedroom home?
No. Nothing's changed.
Okay. So something had to change because and so the thing is that it's okay that it changed, but I acknowledged her and reminded her that I remember, I have my notes here. Remember, you said space, and it's okay that we're now switching it up. I just need to know what's changed.
Nothing's changed. I just really like this one.
All right, perfect. And then I might say to her, well, what did you really like about her to help you compromise that deal breaker?
It's an open floor plan.
Got it. So now I know, I appreciate that, Nicole, because sometimes I have a lot of real estate friends that they have these 2-bedroom homes that is exactly like this. And unfortunately, leading up to today, I didn't know until you just told me right now.
So I missed out?
Potentially.
Ah.
But that's okay, Nicole, because now we know and we're going to progress from here. You see, Nicole, my job is to help you minimize and narrow down your options so you can make the best decision.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Next page. Now we're going, 46 minutes strong. And a lot of this is because we're role playing, we're stopping, we're really taking the time to be thorough.
Right.
Essentially, when you're doing this in real life, I'll say in the beginning, don't worry about putting a time restriction on yourself. But when you're really good at doing this, you should probably keep this under 30 minutes.
Okay.
20 if you can. But if there's a relationship being built there, you don't put a restriction on that.
Right.
Okay. The reason I say that is because you want to be efficient with your time.
Right.
The appointment time, because you may have another appointment after this to go look at houses with somebody else.
Right.
So, and that's a good problem to have. So essentially, when you get a lot of business, you have to be more mindful of your time.
And a lot of this you would already have the answers to prior.
Correct.
More than likely, if
Correct.
you actually thoroughly talk to them over the phone.
Correct.
Right.
If you took the time, you paused, you didn't rush the conversation, you would find a lot of this information.
Right.
And you would write it down. And you're not even having to ask it anymore. You're just confirming it.
Right.
You see? Okay. This is called, are you an A, B, or C buyer? What we are doing here is we are wanting to hear Nicole tell us, and we kind of already know this because she told us earlier, but we're going to confirm it again. And then we're going to have her acknowledge it. This is about her timeline. And this is about setting the expectation on how often she needs us to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is also going to help us go back to our CRM and specify what her timeline is, so we know whether to prioritize her or not. Okay? Nicole, we're going to go back to the script. I want to go over this document with you. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but I want to kind of explain it to you because I think you will appreciate that we're asking you this. Okay? This is called, we need to know if you're an A, B, or C buyer.
Okay.
Let me kind of explain to you what this means. It is written out right here, but I'm just going to go ahead and explain it to you. An A buyer, this is the type of person on our clients, we prioritize them to the max. Okay. And what that means is that when I prioritize somebody, that means I'm communicating with them almost once every day, every 2 days.
Okay.
Because we both are in agreement that time is of an essence for them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Think about the person whose contract is coming up on their lease. Mm-hmm. This person needs undivided attention. Gotcha. Okay. So there's a sense of urgency. Okay. A B buyer is the second priority level for us. This means that we're probably checking into them once a week. Okay. This is a person that wants to buy a home, but they're not in a rush because their contract is not coming up. Mm-hmm. They still have time, but they are going to make a decision.
Right.
And a C buyer is more or less like our investor type of clients. These are the people that they're not in a rush for nothing, but when they see a deal, they want to know about it. We might communicate with these guys once a month. Now, I don't think you're a C buyer, right?
Right.
Okay. Are you an A buyer or a B buyer?
I think I'd be a B buyer because I have a little bit of time from now until November.
Okay. And when did you say your lease expires?
It's month to month.
Month to month.
So I
Okay,
just have to give my landlord a 30-day notice.
Got it. Okay.
So which would be right when we go into contract, right?
Got it. Yep. So with that said, you heard me say kind of the expectation of communication.
Yes.
Do you want us communicating with you once every day, once every 2 days, or once every 7 days?
Once a week, I believe, will be okay for now. And then once we get closer to Thanksgiving, I'd probably more aggressively start looking if I haven't found something already.
Gotcha. And I know from speaking to you earlier, if we did find something, you're also ready to make a decision as well.
Because I just put in my notice in my studio currently and just start planning to move.
Understood. Okay, cool. I like to say that you're a B plus buyer.
Awesome.
Right? Because when you're ready to make a decision and you see the house, you're ready to go.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna have you sign right here, date it. You would have them acknowledge it. Okay? Now they're saying, yes, this is what I told you. You see, again, it goes back to the communication. I'm not going to disservice you, Nicole, but I do need to know how often you need me to communicate with you based on your urgency.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yes.
Then there's these, the 10 must nots. We're just quickly going over them, what not to do when you're buying a house or applying for a mortgage, because these are things that can be a deal breaker. Don't change jobs. Don't buy a car, right? Don't take out new credit cards, okay? So we're telling them these are things that you need to know about. How many times has that happened to us? We were like, we told you not to do it, right? So we're just emphasizing it over and over again.
Gotcha.
Here's the last page. This is what we call the proposal. It's a VIP agreement. Now, depending on where you're watching this, you have to pay attention to what your local laws are in your state. In the state of Florida, we have something called an exclusive buyer broker agreement. It's actually a Florida written agreement, right? Some of us are brave enough to pull that out, and some of us aren't because we're afraid that we might lose the client. Okay? The VIP buyer agreement is something similar to an exclusive buyer broker agreement for the state of Florida, but this is not a Florida written contract. But what we do want to know is, we want to know, is Nicole ready to commit to us? Because remember, the appointment, the strategy session, was for her to get to know us, for us to educate her, for us to show our value to her so that she can make a decision if we are measuring up to what her expectations are. Okay? The VIP buyer broker, you can really specify and customize this how you want. And I'm going to just do it real brief so that she can understand what it is. Okay? Back to script. Nicole, this last page, I want to, how do you feel the appointment is going so far?
It's going so good. I really appreciate you asking so many questions about what I'm looking for.
Okay, awesome.
To really pinpoint.
Cool. I appreciate that as well, that you share that with me. We have something here called a buyer agreement. Okay. Basically, what this is, Nicole, is I want you to propose to me. But we're not getting married.
Gotcha.
Okay. And what this is I want to explain to you that we're very thorough. We have a team ready to help you and ready to accommodate you. Whether it's at the physical showing, whether you have general questions, we always have a support team to help you out. Okay? We are going to deliver the red carpet treatment to you. Okay? And we're going to help you find the best financing option, the best lender. We want to know that if one unexpected day you're out looking at houses
Mhm.
and it's unplanned and you see a for sale by owner sign on the front yard, we would like you to communicate with us
Okay.
to tell us about that so that we can come in and represent you on your behalf to find the information that's helpful for you to protect you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So these are small examples that we want to give you that we're here to protect you and you're here to communicate with us even when we're not present with you.
Okay.
Okay? Because essentially, Nicole, what I want you to understand is you're not going to pay us a commission. It's the seller that wills. That's how we earn our money. This is how our team operates.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yeah.
So this is why we are asking you for your communication to us in those type of situations. Okay?
Okay.
Um, what you're going to find out is that we do roll out the red carpet for our people.
Okay.
And that we're super thorough.
Nice.
Okay? So with that said, would you choose us to help you represent you in this process? In other words, would you select us to help you, knowing that this is a proposal and not a marriage? And what I mean by that is, if at any time you feel we're disservicing you, definitely communicate with us, let us know.
For sure.
But you always have the ability to say, hey guys, I'm not happy with this.
Okay.
I want you to know that there's no penalties at all. Okay, you're able to escape from that.
For sure.
All right. With that said, can we represent you from here on out?
Absolutely. Yes.
Perfect.
We don't have it any other way.
You just put a big smile on my face. So let's do here. Just sign right here and date it. Boom, done. You see, it's the act of her doing that, us communicating to her like, we don't want you seeing anybody else.
Right.
If we were effective in this strategy session, if we provided enough value from the time that you spoke with one of our team members to the time that you got here, all that positive momentum of value, if we did a great job, there is no reason why she's going to say no to us. Okay? If she did say no to us, I may want to know why. If she didn't want to share with us, that's okay too.
Gotcha.
Because that tells me that we shouldn't be spending any more time with her.
Right.
So I would probably politely, I've never had that happen to me, to be quite frank, but if it did, I would say to her, Nicole, I can appreciate that. And I appreciate you being honest with me. Okay. I hope you found this appointment helpful. I hope you got some good nuggets out of this appointment.
Yes.
What I want to kind of set the expectation from here on out. Every family that we help and that we are helping currently, we always ask them for their commitment for us to be exclusive with them. Okay?
Yes.
Because you've denied that, we respect that. We can't proceed in helping you from here on out. However, if something changes for you, please let us know and we'll be more than happy to revisit this conversation. Okay?
That's fine.
And I hope you can understand that because, this is how we make our money. This is how we help people. And we need to make sure that we're setting our time aside for the families who want us to help them.
Right.
Are we on the same page about that?
That's respectable.
Okay,
absolutely.
cool. And so going off script, we spent an hour and a half with Nicole educating her for a relationship. And we set the expectations of communication, whether it's good or bad. We said to her, here's an hour and a half of our time. If we couldn't get her commitment, I definitely would like to know why, because I need to know if we need to improve our process, our consultation, okay, or whatever it may be. All right. But I would rather lose an hour and a half of my time than hours and hours and hours of showing them houses only to find out that she may have a sister who's a real estate agent, which is why she didn't want to commit to us.
Wow. Yep.
And I know some of you guys may know this, it happens.
Sure does.
And I would rather know that ahead of time. Why? Because when I take my time away from my family, I don't want it to be for a person who's not ready to commit to us.
Absolutely.
Okay? So with that said, that's the first portion of it. And be on the lookout for some of the other videos we're going to be doing that has to do with the actual consultation itself. It's about the actual home buying process of what happens when you go under contract. All right, guys. I hope you guys appreciate it. This is Nicole and I saying peace out.
Bye.